The Toronto Blue Jays found another interesting way to lose a ball game, and Team Canada playing games with people's hearts, and Alphonso Davies not being on the pitch, or is he going to make an appearance? Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner Proline. Having split loyalties during the tournament makes things way more interesting. Now you can back all your teams with an exclusive split loyalty parlay bet from Proline. Download the new app today. I'm Lindsay alongside Dan and Zach. We'll have Marco D'Amico on later to talk about the wild moments happening in the NHL. We have NBA news as well. We have a new member of the Toronto Raptors.
And it's not LaMelo Ball.
I'm just going to
Lindsay was dancing in the studio when that news came out.
100%. People who drive also dancing around the streets that he will not have a vehicle or license in Toronto right now.
It is still somewhat safe to be a pedestrian on the streets of Toronto.
And an actual driver. Which, you know what? It's a podcast. I'm going to go off on a tangent right now. And I know a lot of our viewers, thank you for joining us on Off the Roster on YouTube, don't live in Toronto. But if you do, I want to punch myself in the face often when I drive. And no, I don't want to take transit because I don't want to get shanked. Today, somebody had a crack pipe. And the reason I know it's that is because I had to take a picture and upload it to Google Image to be like, what is this? On King Street, it's already one way, or like you can't drive down it. And now there's so many streets where they have giant red areas where it can only be for TTC. Mm-hmm. If trying to get into the area I live in, you can only take a left into the one of two streets for access, like 5 hours of the day. Well, now they're making it so that one of the lanes will only be TTC, so it's impossible to get around. The transit is not reliable, so I am willing to fight somebody that works in the city of Toronto. Whoever is making these decisions for traffic, the transit is not reliable and it's not safe. So you're really making me angry, and I'm somebody that does not get angry. But Dan, oh my gosh.
Well, you can maybe send some complaints to Gianni Infantino and FIFA, because I think they have a big... Not that it's...
the red things with that being just for TTC, that's not a FIFA thing. But yeah, other than that, if I could, I'd flip a table right now. I have no upper body strength. We're well aware of this. But Canada didn't have their full strength so far all World Cup, a lot of injuries, but they lost 2-1 to Switzerland. They finished second in Group B. They will, however, advance to the knockout round at the FIFA World Cup for the first time in Canadian men's national team history. We will celebrate the shit out of that.
We do have to remember where we came from at some point, and I have to remind myself that, well, that's not what I was getting at, but yes.
I said it quite enough.
I do have to remind myself of this a lot, because as somebody who's followed and covered Canadian soccer for a very long time, longer than I care to remember, given some of the matches I've had to watch through the years, the 8-1 in San Pedro Sula against Honduras, to just even get into the final stage of World Cup qualifying, there has been some dark moments, some very dark moments, and really good players never even got a sniff of World Cup matches in the past in the way that this group is getting to have that opportunity. So yes, there is a need for a reminder as to where we have come from, and that this is still an accomplishment to see Canada into the knockout phase. But there is also another part of this that is true, and that's having Qatar in your group really helped Canada move on to the knockout phase, because Qatar is clearly a team that is a product of having a expanded 48-team World Cup. Canada took advantage of a favorable host draw, and they are going to continue to get a favorable host draw with South Africa now as their round of 32 opponent. So there are positives to take, but I don't think you should overlook those positives to the point that you don't see what is, reason for raising a Spockian eyebrow at what's going on with Team Canada, and reason for questioning whether the manager got it right or wrong yesterday, how the players have been managed through this, how the tactics have been managed, how 2 of the 3 games, the majority of the matches, this team has not played all that well. Like, they didn't play very well in the first half against Bosnia. They didn't play much of the match very well yesterday against Switzerland, aside from a moment of brilliance that had promised David score one of the greatest World Cup goals I've ever seen. So these are positives to take, but there are still some real reasons to wonder about how this team fares even in the round of 32 in a match they are going to be heavily favored in.
Briefly hearing from Jesse Marsh right there, who is wanting you to take a beat, take a moment, because I actually, before we even get to Jesse Marsh and his decision or non-decision to use Alphonso Davies yesterday, I want people to know what it's like to experience watching any kind of sporting event with you. But when it comes to soccer or football, we know your passion. And the true Italian came out in you yesterday.
Oh, really?
We were at the Adidas hub.
The home of soccer, the Adidas home of soccer at the Stacked Market here in Toronto.
It's free. Go to it. It's actually very entertaining. We're not getting paid to say this. It was fun. There was tense. And this is all of the emotions Dan experienced. He has not seen this.
I can't believe most of this is at the end of the match when Canada was pushing for the equalizer.
Yeah.
There's at least a celebration, and Promise David scored the goal. Oh, God. Me trying to do the Jesse Marsh. It's over. There's the Kenny Smith.
This is so entertaining to watch that it really is half the time. First of all, I'm sorry. I find it very annoying when people just film someone when they're watching a game, because it happened to me when I was covering the Raptors 2019 run in the World Series last year.
Yep.
But you were way too entertaining. Your emotions were all over the place. Like the Italian in you came out.
They just needed one goal. That's it. When they got the Promise David goal, I was like, you know what? This looks like crap right now, but they're just one goal away. So now you just need one quick moment to change the entire fortunes of winning the group. And, you know, I mean, they end up in a pretty favorable draw anyways. But in the moment, I was thinking it was going to be South Korea and that Canada had really pooched their opportunity to have more success at this World Cup.
Yeah, I wasn't stressed at all. There's no video evidence of me at all being stressed during this moment, because thankfully you didn't send it to Zach. But
I should have.
Yeah, I knew you weren't. I wasn't going to send it. I was definitely stressed. I had to walk away from Dan because what happened is they lost because of me. Dan Jinxio has impacted everyone that works on this show. We know when you talk about something.
Yeah, you were the reason Canada lost yesterday.
I'm the reason Canada lost. I don't know if people know this. And I'm sorry, Canada. I'm sorry for everyone who plays for Canada's men's national soccer team. I'm sorry for everyone who's believed in this team. I am the reason, because as soon as I walked in,
it was goalless when you walked in.
It was goalless, and when I walked in through security, Switzerland scored.
Yes. 12 minutes later they scored, or 10 minutes later they scored again.
And I looked at Dan, I'm like, I walked in and they immediately scored. I think I need to go home. So like I went, I like switched like my shirt a little bit, what I was wearing, and then I was like pacing back and forth because it's me. I am the problem. It's me. So I will not watch Sunday.
Okay, Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay. But you did speak to fans after. This was immediately after, before we knew the results of anything else. So this was Dan on the streets talking to the peeps. Not trademarked yet.
No, I don't think it is.
But also, there is something that I think we're going to put out tomorrow with you also talking to people, testing their true knowledge of being a Canadian soccer or football. It's in Canada, so Canadian soccer fan, and it did not disappoint. So be excited for that tomorrow. Also, we're going to be seeing the NHL Draft tomorrow. A lot happening there. Yes. But yeah, I'm the problem with this. We're also going to talk about the trend that is happening with soccer fans around the world. It's here now. Sorry, now right. That was me stalling.
We are testing people's Canadian soccer knowledge here. I'm going to show you a picture. You tell me if you know who it is, all right?
I'm ready.
We're going to start on easy mode.
Okay.
Who do we have?
Oh, Alphonso Davies, number 19.
All right.
Oh, that's Alphonso Davies. That's, let me zoom in. That's got to be Davies, right? Alphonso Davies.
All right, that one's easy. They got it on easy mode.
Jonathan David.
Let's go. That's right.
Jonathan David, that's our striker.
All right. Okay. How about this one right here?
That's Jonathan David.
Oh, we gotta
come on.
I gotta make it a little bit. Okay. He scored in the last match.
Did he happen to score a hat trick?
He did.
Oh, that'll be David then.
All right, that is Jonathan David. Okay. All right, here's another current player. Who do we got?
Kyle Laren.
That's the Brampton Bagsman right there, Kyle Laren. This player's nickname is the Brampton Bagsman.
Yes, sir. Kyle Laren.
Oh, I didn't even need to give you a little extra clue. All right. How about here?
Come on, it's top goal scorer ever, Kyle Laren.
Okay. Oh, you knew he's the top goal scorer? A little too easy for the first. He told us he didn't know it that well. One final one. This one might be a bit of a trick one. Who is this Canadian soccer legend?
Oh, well, This is Canadian treasure, Mr. Sidney Crosby, obviously.
Who's this Canadian baller?
The GOAT, Sidney Crosby.
Nobody messed this one up.
Crosby. Come on, guys.
You throw up a picture of Craig Forrest or Dwayne De Rosario, nobody, crickets. But Sid, yeah, we know that guy.
My bad. I was so excited about this. I thought we were airing it tomorrow, but we couldn't make the people wait because it was highly entertaining to like somebody like, who is this going to be? But yeah, we were both there, felt the passion of the fans watching this. A little bit of disappointment after they lost, but still hopeful.
Hopeful because you're moving to the round of 32. And
Let's go!
Last night, okay, so Canada, I thought Canada was going to play South Korea because South Korea were heavy favorites. They had to just get a win or a draw against South Africa. South Africa had been very poor so far in this tournament. South Korea had looked pretty good, and then everything went wrong for South Korea last night. They end up losing the match to South Africa. So now Canada gets a match where they are going to be the heavy favorite in the round of 32. The big issue with Canada not getting the result yesterday is they have to leave home. They can't play in Vancouver. They would have had a chance to play the round of 32 in Vancouver and the round of 16 in Vancouver. So they would have been able to stay home. Now you've got to, and you would have gotten extra rest. For a team that's got so many injuries, the extra rest would have been very valuable, but they don't get any of that. Now you have to play in 3 days' time. Sunday, the first knockout phase game is going to be Canada, South Africa at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. By the way, for any Canadians that want to go there, tickets are nosediving. So if you've got the cash in the bank and you want to celebrate Canada, go out there and show red and white at SoFi Stadium.
You got deep pockets. Let's go.
I definitely do not. But
I don't know.
Tickets are nosediving. They're still like $700 American each. So
thank you for taking me and Zach with you to go to this. I'm really, Dan just telling me this, is there a chance that they could also play in LA on Thursday of next week?
I don't know. I'd have to relook at the bracket.
I'm going to be in LA covering whoever is playing that game next Thursday, and maybe I don't want it to be Canada because I probably will hurl, but I know I talk about that a lot in the show. I don't actually hurl a lot. I just feel like it today because I had eggs and then brushed my teeth with Coca-Cola and toothpaste. Real story. But yeah, it's been interesting. The fan reaction was good.
Yes.
I love the passion. I loved seeing the majority of people there were wearing Canada kits or something Canada, which is not something we've seen for years when it comes to soccer in this country.
Although people could have been hiding and disguising themselves because Canada and Switzerland wear the same colors. But I'm just kidding aside. There were a lot of Alphonso Davies jerseys yesterday.
I want a Promise jersey.
And
it's so good.
I mean,
I have a Meta World Peace jersey just for that reason.
With the way I know the Brampton Bags man got a lot of hype after scoring in Canada's scoring against Bosnia and then scoring again against Qatar. But after what I saw yesterday, I want to see Promise David play a big role against South Africa on Sunday. And Alphonso Davies, I mean, do we have the clip of Jesse Marsh? I'm at a loss for what has happened this entire timeline with Canada's captain, best player, most recognizable Canadian athlete, maybe on the planet next to Andre DeGrasse. I'm at a loss for how Canada has handled the Alphonso Davies situation. And yesterday, Jesse Marsh threw even more onto the pile of unknown with where this has gone for Alphonso Davies. He was asked why Alphonso Davies, after he said Davies would play a factor in the match, he was asked why he did not.
Time to think about this, but the decision not to go with Steph from the start, how do you feel about that, given kind of where the situation of the game when you did bring him on, and then the decision not to bring on Fonzie at all? You'd said yesterday he was good to go. You had one substitute left in the barrel as such after the promise goal. Just wonder about both of those.
Yeah. Look, Steph, we wanted to start, but he didn't feel like he was ready to go. So he felt like he was like a 30-minute limit, so that's what we did. And to be honest, Alphonso wasn't ready yet. So I was using him a little bit as a decoy. However, he will be ready next match.
Oh my God. Can you redo? I liked it.
Who's laughing?
I was.
Who's laughing? Who's laughing about Alphonso Davies being a decoy? A decoy for who? Who's he being a decoy for? Why did Switzerland need to be decoyed that Alphonso Davies might play a factor in this match? Guy hasn't played in the last 2 days, has barely played in the last 15 months, given his injury that he suffered last March. I mean, you think Switzerland is losing sleep over maybe having to worry about Alphonso Davies for 20 minutes? Give me a break. Decoy for who? I just don't understand any of this timeline. It's been weird from the get-go, and I get it. It's not an easy situation, Lindsay. Yes, Davies got hurt numerous times after trying to recover from a catastrophic injury that kept him out for over a year. So it's understandable that he is in a bit of a weird place coming off of that injury, but the timeline with his injury, when it happened, when the re-injury of the hamstring in the lead up to the World Cup, all of the talk has been, can he be ready? Will he be ready? Canada has clearly left the door open for Davies to play here, even though it was always going to be dicey. And then you have, he might play a factor in the group stage, or he should be able to play a factor in the group stage, probably won't play on June 12th in the opener. Davies goes on another show in Toronto and says he won't be able to play in the first game, probably won't be able to play in the second game.
They make them take that clip down.
They take the clip down. I mean, what is going on? What is the shroud of secrecy around Alphonso Davies? Yesterday, he's being asked to talk to media, and he blows past everybody. I mean, this is supposed to be the guy that brings the nation together. He is the captain of the national team. If he's unable to play, he should still talk to the media, especially given the cone of silence that's been around his availability. I just don't understand any of it. Maybe the whole ploy, because I tried to spin zone this myself and go glass half full on it, Lindsay. Maybe the whole play is a bit of a magician's trick from Jesse Marsch. Like, hey, I don't want you to focus on how poor we played in this match against Switzerland. Like, the focus is,
it's 100%.
Is over here.
You see this shiny thing over here? You don't want to talk about how terrible Canada played? Shiny things over here, everybody. Yeah, it's also chess game that they're playing with him right now. Is he more injured than they're letting on that he's not able to do? Does it have anything to do with his actual other club saying we don't want him to play somehow and having more puppet strings on that than we think that they can have?
Well, if he's unable to perform for Canada, like, that's like SOL, you know, like, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah, they're trying to play a chess game. We see this like even in hockey and everywhere. Like, does it make sense? I don't think so. But right now I do think it's Marsch just making a distraction from how poorly they played, especially in that first half.
The biggest problem I have with it, though, if he was never going to be available, like if he's not even available on Sunday, especially now that they have a quicker run-up to this match, only 3 days rest, they would have had a week if they were able to get the result they needed yesterday to win the group. If he was never going to play a factor, why not bring somebody else? Right? Like, I get it, he's Alphonso Davies, and maybe you just want to keep the door open because the chance that he could play a factor in any sort of match outweighs the player, I mean this with as much respect as possible, the player that would take his spot on the roster. But he hasn't played any minutes in the first 3 matches, will not play a minute on home soil during this World Cup. It's very unfortunate. And you have to bring Jacob Schaffelberg to play left back off the bench because you don't have any other left back options with Alphonso Davies unavailable to play. And to me, it's reason to call into question how this has all been handled by Canada Soccer, if this has all been too much babying of the situation with Davies. It's left a lot more question marks than it has answers to this point, and I'm just hopeful that Davies can play a factor on Sunday and help Canada into the round of 16.
Knockout round, baby, though. First time in Canadian. I know.
I'm trying not to get too upset because Canada is in the knockout phase. You know, it's like, and we get to play South Africa. And
we thought for a moment it was South Korea, and then we spoke about how the ticket prices and everything went down. But Dan, I need your hot take on something. Of course, we know that soccer fans have been taking over stadiums across North America, baseball stadiums. So we saw Scotland fans. We also saw, the Norwegian row. Is that the correct term? Or
I think so.
Yeah, so
because they're good at rowing.
They're good at rowing, but now
like Summer Olympics, like they're good at skiing events and rowing. That's the Olympics for Norwegians.
Canadian fans, as creative as we are sometimes, decided to do the canoe row. So take a look at this, and I would love your thoughts on this as well as Zach's.
Row, 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 row.
want to try to make this a thing. Are we particularly good at canoeing? Should we be doing like the slap shot somehow?
No, this is
lame.
stolen valor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can't do this.
I'm not happy with it.
We got to come up with our own stuff.
We need our own
lack
chant.
Creativity.
We have nothing.
We have nothing. It's pathetic. North America, well, shouldn't say that. U.S. and Canada have nothing.
Yeah, Mexico
We got
can't slap.
nothing for us. It's pathetic.
I thought for a moment, like, okay, they're trying something, but you can take on something. I'm going to say that is iconic. It is taking over stadiums. Like, they did a bird's eye view of the Norwegian fans the other day. It was like, this is actually magical to watch. It was every section, thousands of fans. We don't have a chant.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have like our own signature thing. So let's try to do
Let's
something.
Go Canada.
Do you guys remember
I love doing
Canada Go at the World Juniors? Do you remember
yeah.
that?
I was like, is this
That
the
was
classified song that you're bringing up again?
No.
Yeah.
There's also ooh ah Canada, ooh ha Canada.
Okay, Dan, I'm going to turn your mic off right now.
I'm sorry, like these are the chants we have, you know. Like,
Yeah,
That
so
one
Garrett's
is
saying
not the
stolen
worst.
content as well. A beaded beaver with a lumberjack outfit. They're throwing out in there.
Us Canadians, us soccer fans here in North America,
We're
we
new.
are kind of like the kings of stealing stuff from other people, you know? Like Major League Soccer couldn't even
Lame.
create team names without stealing them from teams in Europe.
We have
Like,
two
oh,
freaking Canadian
you mean-
football teams,
yeah.
both called the Rough Riders. Do we lack creativity in Canada? You have the Ottawa Rough Riders and had the Saskatchewan Rough Riders at the same time.
Yep.
WTF? We have amazing creative people. Let's try something. Like We the North, still slapping.
I mean, I want to know who in Salt Lake City came up with a Real Salt Lake, you know? Like that's
Boo.
I mean, it happened all over Major League Soccer. So it's you know, even when
Wait, I didn't know that. That's trash. Holy, that is terrible.
as if they are Real Madrid, but in Salt Lake
Yeah,
City.
I got that. I thought that was a joke. That's awful.
Even Toronto FC with the Viking clap. Like, when did the Viking clap become a thing for TFC? It just when they happened to start winning in 2017 or so. But it was always kind of straight. Like we steal stuff from other people. It's okay. It's a form of endearment, I guess.
But we are creative, and I'll say we, as Toronto teams, creative at finding different ways to lose. The Toronto Blue Jays wrapping their series against the Astros yesterday. Blue Jays let another winnable game slip. Joey Loperfido. Well, I jinxed Team Canada. I gave that guy nothing but good vibes when I interviewed him before his first game back in Toronto since being traded at spring training earlier this year. He hit his first home run of the season during the Jays versus the series yesterday. He had this long shot that goes to the outfield. Dalton Varsho not able to catch it. Throws it in. He ends up getting a triple. What happens on the next play involves Dan's favorite player right now for the Toronto Blue Jays. That being one, Jeff Hoffman, who is on the mound, tries to, get the pick off of Joey Loperfido at third. Loperfido. Does not happen. Was that better than Beck's?
No.
I did not agree with that.
Your Bex is better.
Hey.
Your Bex is better.
Okay. But yeah, and then it just... They lost.
Yeah, it went terribly. I mean, I don't know if I know
Hoffman
Kazuma
fan.
Okamoto is not yet full up on his English, but there was clearly some miscommunication there with him and Jeff Hoffman.
Yeah, it was.
Also, why the heck are we trying to pick off play at third base, Jeff? Like, focus on the batter at home. You're a right-hander. Joey Loperfido is not trying to steal home in this moment, okay? It's a 1-1 game in the late innings. Joey Loperfido is not trying to steal home. Why are we throwing to third? Why are we even thinking of throwing to first base? Throw a strike, please. That's what we need from Jeff Hoffman in this moment. Zach, I don't know if you can bring up my Twitter, but there was a moment on the right after this happened. We had the perfect fan capture of what it's like to experience Jeff Hoffman in today's day and age. After Game 7 of the World Series and everything that's happened this season, we had the perfect fan reaction to the Jeff Hoffman experience.
Was it you at Canada's soccer party?
No.
No.
But here it is. Like, this guy's face is me watching Jeff Hoffman literally every time out. I would say.
I know something's wrong with me that Hoff is still in my circle of trust, but watching
it's not even possible.
But here's the thing.
It's
If you don't know, everybody's in my circle of trust.
I know. You're very trusting.
It's awful, though, because I clearly get burned over and over again, and the hurt is real and often. But when that happened with him and Big Oak, I had to keep rewinding, and it was one of the moments in the game, because you will have this at every sporting event where you have a WTF moment. And that clearly was it for me. And then you can't get Varland to come back in. And yes, he has been near perfect this season. He only has, given up 1 home run. But that was rough. And then I see in the chat.
Did you not make eye contact with Oak before throwing it?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was like bam. And then Clayton, I see in the chat you bringing up, can we reverse the Jesus trade for Joey Loperfido? And there was a whole thing that happened online after, because in the interview that Joey did for us here on Off the Roster, he said that he really wanted a BLT before the game, but thought Davis and Ernie might poison it. He was clearly joking, and everyone's like, couldn't have you just give him the BLT? Anything to stop Joey, because nobody saw this happening. Best series he's had so far this season. And today, they welcome the Texas Rangers.
Well,
and their standings, they're comparable to the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
So they could get the series. Let's go.
Jays need some wins, as we know. Like anytime
do they need
they're
Vladdy?
allergic
Question
to
for you.
they
I haven't
need
heard
Vladdy.
this at all, so I just want to bring up the name Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
It would be nice if the real Vladdy Guerrero Jr. came back. It's.
I thought you were going to go Eminem on me there. Can the real Vladdy Guerrero Jr. please stand up? Please
that would also be nice. That would be very nice.
I haven't seen 8
You
Miles.
know what? On the positive side of things, his slugging percentage is now a little bit higher than his on-base percentage. So
yeah, the standings there.
That's where we're at with
Jays.
Vladdy right now.
9.5 back games. 9.5 back from the Yankees.
Jays are allergic to 500. I don't know what it is.
They stink.
This team is allergic.
They stink.
They get close to 500. Okay, yeah, they do. They're very mid, and their playoff chances are boosted because of the American League. We've said it a million times. But I think every time they've had the opportunity to go above 500, they've had 4 opportunities. And in the 9th or 10th inning, they give up the lead each and every time. It's crazy how allergic they are to getting above 500. They had the chance against this Houston team on Saturday or the other day, and it just didn't happen for them. So they've got to get Vladdy going. They've got to get this offense going. Again, I'm thinking about Ross Atkins being like, we need pitching. It's like, yeah, you need pitching, but you also need some hitters, okay? The reason why the whole Jeff Hoffman scenario plays out and is so catastrophic, and it feels like it happens all the time, is because you're always in close games. You can never pull away from a team. Your offense isn't good enough to do that. You're playing all these 1-1, 2-2, 3-3 games, and everything's close. So every moment your bullpen gives up a lead or gives up a tie game, you feel it because you're in these games so bleeping often. And that, I don't know how they change that other than bringing in another bat.
We're going to get to hockey talk in a moment. Clearly, Matthew Knies, a hot topic around the NHL, and especially for Leafs fans. But shout out to our buddy Thomas Hall of the Nation Network, giving an update on Addison Barger. This was Schneider relayed this to the media yesterday, that Barger is flying up to Toronto to touch base with Blue Jays brass today.
Bam, bam.
And yeah, bam, bam. The club plans to assess where he's at and map out a rehab assignment plan from there. He hopes to have him play Friday or Saturday in Dunedin, which I think this is just so crazy how this is where we ended up after he had that lightning of a throw from the outfield to home to get that out. And then he's been on the IL ever since. It continues with the story of the injury bug.
Setbacks.
The season of setbacks, because it's also just happening in Toronto sports. I mentioned with the Tempo, same thing for them, where they just keep getting bit by the injury bug. So
it's like the Leafs last year too.
Make
it about the Leafs. They were obviously not a very good team, but they just how many times did either of you guys say, I know I said it a lot, but it's like, well, if this guy comes back and he's healthy, well, if they get a full roster together for a couple of games, well, if I hope, and then it'll happen, and then it never happened. And we're sitting here talking about, well, if Vladdy can get going, well, if Addison Barger can come back, if the pitching can figure itself out, it hasn't. It hasn't, and we're over halfway through the season. Like, it's just.
Well, if the Tan Man can come back, the Leafs defense will get shored up.
Well, we're going to have hockey
How'd
talk
that
in a
work out?
moment, but I would like to talk about my favorite hockey expert, that being David Beckham, because this segment is a presentation
Bex.
of the Ninja Flex Flame. Let's go.
Ninja Flex Flame gives you 5 ways to cook. High heat grilling, low and slow smoking, crispier roasting, flat top griddling, artisan pizza making, and David Beckham cooks for you.
I did
I
not
did not agree to that.
Ninja Flex Flame.
Meet the Ninja Flex Flame precision temperature control, wood fire smoke, and cyclonic air for grilling, smoking, roasting, pizza, and griddling all under one hood. Grill pizza and everything in between. The Ninja outdoor grill and artisan pizza maker are built for summer. Upgrade outside with Ninja. We will not acknowledge what I just did, Dan, because I want to bring in.
I kind of want to. I
kind of, you know, let's keep doing this.
I want to.
Let's bring in one of my favorite guests we've ever had on here. I think I've went a bit Scottish, Mike. It's NHL News with Marco Tamiya. I can't even say it.
All right.
D'Amico.
All right.
Oh, sorry, D'Amico.
Cancel. Sorry.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed, guys.
Sorry, I butchered your name trying to keep this accent. I don't know where I'm from in the world. But how are you today?
You wouldn't be the first. I'm doing great. How about you guys?
D'Amico, I'm sorry. I'm great. I can't do any accents. I was like, I feel like Zach is shading me because he's trying to find the Darko clip where it says, "This is complete crap." But Marco, thank you for being here right now. Let's discuss your tweet about Matthew Knies. In our chat right now, people being like, who thinks this is a hot topic? Everybody's talking about Matthew Knies in Leafs land right now and in the NHL because he's a fantastic player. And you tweeted out, Matthew Knies looks very much in play at this point. So I know there's been updates since this tweet. Can you tell us where we are at life when it comes to the Matthew Knies saga?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, there was a moment where the Leafs were listening on him, and listening in the sense of asking an exorbitant price, and you had to see whether or not teams were going to meet that. And one of those aspects would have been a hockey deal. The other aspect would have been a top 10 pick. Well, we just saw Bowen Byram go for a 4th overall pick and a 2nd. So there is a market right now that we haven't seen in over a decade where there is a willingness to move top 10 picks. And so that forces John Chaika, who very much likes this draft class, especially on the back end, to see, outside of drafting Gavin McKenna at 1, which I think is a foregone conclusion, what can they do here? Because if you're bringing in Gavin McKenna and you already have Willie Nylander, Austin Matthews, Darren Radish that they just acquired, probably John Tavares in terms of a net front, like where does Matthew Knies fit in? And will he plateau if he's not playing like top minutes on the power play, at 5-on-5, because you're bringing in a guy like McKenna that's going to take his spot? So these are the conversations being had. And so if they can maximize Knies' value and really get a team to overpay, then they're going to listen. And so that's why I'm saying it went from being something of a pipe dream to something of a little bit more on the reality side, especially when you have teams that are calling in like Buffalo or San Jose, looking to see if there's a deal to be made.
Yeah, and obviously there's been a lot of smoke to this. They came very close to trading Knies to Montreal at the deadline, at the trade deadline, and if there was 1 minute sooner, maybe Knies would have been a Montreal Canadien for the playoff run that the Habs ended up going on. And now, these things have bubbled back up. And you mentioned Buffalo in one of your tweets. They just moved Alex Tuch, and I kind of wonder, like, are they looking at Knies as, hey, maybe this is a younger, cheaper replacement for the guy we're losing in Alex Tuch?
And cost controlled. Like, that's the very important part, is the cost control aspect, because you get to a point with Alex Tuch, like, it became very evident that they weren't going to give him $10.5 million, right? So I do believe that it opens up that possibility. And for Toronto, I mean, you don't want to take a step back necessarily when you lose a player like Knies, but the possibility and the type of prospect that you'd be getting at 4, say if that were the deal, that would be pretty wild. Same thing at 9. I think you can get an excellent defenseman anywhere between 4 and 11 in this draft. So it makes a lot of sense to be looking into that. But again, this isn't to say that these deals are a surefire thing and they're sure to happen, because if they were, they would have been announced already. But these are the discussions going on around Knies, and I don't blame Chaika for having those conversations. He has to see the best possible way to improve his team on the long run. And if they feel like Easton Cowan is going to take a serious step and can jump into the top 6, That's another element that they're going to have to juggle with. And I think that it's an intelligent thing to do to be able to look at that market, because Knies is the only one that they could really drum up an entire league-wide market for, considering he has no trade protection. The only thing I would say is be very careful about trading a 23-year-old with that sweetheart of a contract and that build, because those power forwards are hard to come by.
Oh, I hope they listen to you. I hope they listen to you. I know there's different sources and reports coming from different teams that are very interested in him, but as someone that covers the Leafs, I sure would like him to stay there. We've seen a lot of moves happen within the last couple of days. We'll see more, I'm sure, ahead of the draft tomorrow. And then, of course, we have free agency a week from yesterday. With all the moves that's been made, do you think potential great pickup that's still in the free agency market? And I'm asking that because fans think the answer is no one.
Well, I mean, they're not necessarily wrong. I mean, it's the most unsexy free agent class I've seen in years. Years. Like there are going to be some contracts, maybe ever. There are going to be contracts handed out that are going to leave people scratching their heads. I think for Toronto, very simply, I think a guy like Boone Jenner could be interesting. They're looking for that veteran 3C. That's a guy that could fit right in there, that brings that experience, that plays a certain way that I feel would be attractive to a team like them, that I don't think would cost an arm and a leg. And let's face it, they have the cap space. So as long as it's not costing them assets, I think it would make a lot of sense. And center, I mean, is one of the toughest positions to be able to cover right now. We haven't seen a major center moved in a trade so far this summer during this craziness. And I look forward to seeing if we do, even leading up to the draft. So if you can land one for free in free agency, that's nothing to spit on, even though I agree it's slim pickings on that market right now.
Yeah, it's led to this trade market that we've seen over the last few days, and I'm assuming we will continue to see, Marco, over draft weekend and the lead up to July 1. Like if you want to add talent to your team, you've got to pony up with some trade assets and get talking, because that's the best way to add real legitimate talent right now in the NHL.
The only reason John Chaika is considering anything on Matthew Knies is because of how much a seller's market it is. That is the only thing. Like, you couldn't have convinced me that we would have seen a top 5 pick go for Bowen Barham, with no disrespect to the player. Like, I think he will be a number 1 defenseman, and he's probably going to pile the points on in Chicago, playing on a power play with Connor Bedard and Anton Frendel and Frank Nazar. Like, I have no doubt that he'll probably live up to the billing, but a top 5 pick hasn't moved since Toronto decided to trade up for one in 2008. At this stage in the month of June, so close to the draft. So it is very rare. And if another one can move, or another top 10 pick could move for Matthew Knies, I can understand Toronto wanting to explore that to see if they can truly maximize his deal. Because again, where the Canadiens truly need to have a complete, I would say, turnaround would be on the back end. If you can go and draft a player that could be on your team, maybe not this year, but next year and for many years to come, in a top of the lineup role, that's a pretty attractive point, as long as there's other assets that are coming with it.
What is the mood around the Montreal Canadiens, their fan base, and the team after they lost to the current Stanley Cup final champs, the Carolina Hurricanes? But I'm asking this as a serious question, because we all know I'm not the biggest fan of the Habs, but what is like the I'm honest, I'm sorry, yes. but seriously, what is the kind of environment surrounding this team right now? Are the fans hopeful? Is the team, like, how are people feeling about them right now in the off season?
I think there's an anxiety to see the Canadiens make a move right now. I think I've gotten hundreds of messages over the last 2 to 3 days of, when is Kent Hughes going to do something, while you see, Toronto making a couple of moves in the rumors for a couple of other ones. You're seeing San Jose being extremely active, Ottawa trying to make the best of a Brady Tkachuk situation. So people in Montreal, especially with the fact that they went to the Eastern Conference final and have such glaring organizational holes, especially at center, there's an anxiety to see them do something. And obviously the Montreal Canadiens aren't in the business of wanting to overpay right now, which is kind of unfortunate considering this market. They're going to have a tough time trying to find players to fit that role that they won't overpay for. So it's a bit of a wait and see. But there is an expectation in Montreal that they need to build on what they've done, and the status quo would be unacceptable to fans. Now, the team itself is hard at work trying to find alternatives. If they can't find a center, they're going to look for a left wing top six. That's why Matthew Knies made so much sense for them and continues to make so much sense. But I just don't think that the Leafs want to do the PR nightmare that would be trading Matthew Knies to Montreal anymore. So if that's the case, they're looking at alternatives in that regard. And obviously, I won't discount and add on the right side of their defense if possible. So a couple of irons on the fire right now. But again, the Canadiens are looking to make the right trade, not any trade, especially considering some of the deals that we've seen over the last couple of days.
I know it's still very early in the offseason here, and there's a lot more moves to come, but there's been a lot of action happening here in the Atlantic Division, right? You had Buffalo losing Tuck and Byram and probably looking to add back now, but those are two big pieces that the Sabres have lost. Tampa loses Darren Radish here. Florida adds Brady Tkachuk. Ottawa loses Brady Tkachuk. What do you think of the landscape of the toughest division in hockey, the Atlantic Division, and how it's shaping up early in the offseason?
I mean, I think Ottawa, given the situation, I think Ottawa has done a good job of at least getting close to where they were before they had to trade Brady Tkachuk. I still think that Brady Tkachuk is a better player, obviously, than Eklund at this point, but given the situation and the fact that there was a very specific trade destination, I think Steve Staios has done a good job in at least, making the best of it. Buffalo, as it stands right now, I would think takes a little bit of a step back. And I think that's why they're a little bit more aggressive right now in trying to get a top six forward or at least a right shot defenseman to be able to, plug one of the holes left by either Byram or Tuck. But there is also a sense that they have enough prospects in the interior. You look at a guy like Costa Hellenis, Josh Doan had a breakout season. They just extended Zach Benson. There's a lot of youth that are going to be able to take over those minutes. So I think they're looking for a home run kind of deal. And I don't think the Atlantic is done. I don't think the Atlantic is done by any stretch of the imagination. Florida is still poking at certain players. Connor Hellebuyck, definitely one of them. But you look at a team like Detroit, they got a big time bomb on their hands in Dylan Larkin.
Oh boy.
And until that move happens, you can't truly look at the Atlantic and say what's going to happen. All I could say is Florida has improved. Toronto has improved. And I think that if you want to keep up with that, Tampa Bay, I don't expect to sit on their hands at all. We'll see what they do with free agency. Montreal is also going to have to be a team that's going to try to keep up there.
How do you think all of these teams would feel potentially having another road trip to Texas, potentially in Austin or Houston? Of course, the latest news, this is our first time discussing this on the show, Marco, is that there's news of a potential expansion in Texas at being either Austin or Houston. When you heard that, is there a place that you personally would prefer to travel to? And what do you think about the league potentially expanding there? Because I think we got to go to 34 teams then.
Yes. Yeah. The expectation is that one team in Texas and then one team in Atlanta. That would be the expectation for this wave of expansion, which, by the way, in the province of Quebec is getting all kinds of negativity. But
I can only imagine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
They're overlooking the Nordiques again. Okay.
You gotta find yourself a stable ownership group and a sway of investors, and they haven't done that yet in Quebec. But I could definitely tell you, having been to Austin last year, man, what a city! What a sports city that would be, and being so close to San Antonio, you have two major markets right there. Houston, though, has a hockey history. The Houston Aeros are an interesting point, and I think the rivalry with Dallas would be instant. But I feel Austin as well. I just feel like there's something about Austin from like a more of a cultural festival style. It's one of the most underrated cities, I feel, in the southern United States. And I'd love to see it in Austin. I would totally understand Houston. And I think from a league perspective, especially when they're looking to try and get another expansion in before they talk shop on another TV deal, I think having another team in Texas would be really strong for them in terms of ratings. And you could already see the rivalry with the Stars almost instantly. The same way we saw Vancouver and Seattle almost instantly start a rivalry when they came in.
I do wonder if the league is ready for adding another 60-ish players. You know, like the product hasn't the product's been watered down a little bit as we saw this season, Marco. Like is the league ready to add another 2 teams right now?
From a quality of hockey perspective, I think there's a worthwhile debate. I think that you may be watering down the product just a little bit in the pursuit of a couple $2 billion expansion fee. Yeah. But on the flip side, it offers opportunity to players that would otherwise be dwindling in the American Hockey League to maybe make a name for themselves, at the NHL level. And we've seen that. We've seen players that have taken advantage of the expansion draft to absolutely just take off when they were lost in the shuffle on other teams. And, the most infamous one being Vegas, William Karlsson just exploding in Vegas the moment they got him, and the Misfits line and the way that they went about things. So there is reason to believe that with opportunity could come, further progression of certain players and improvement of the league. But I get the concern because I don't think you're going to find 34 first-line centers in the NHL, and that's just going to make finding these kinds of players, for example, that much more interesting. But it opens up more possibility for trades, and I think everybody can get behind that.
So Washington adds Jordan Kyrou in trade, and then they add a sign and trade with Alex Tuch. And we still have no word on Alex Ovechkin. Do you think we're learning something about Alex Ovechkin's future, or am I trying to read the tea leaves a little bit?
No, I don't think you're learning anything about Alex's decision. What I would tell you, though, is kudos to the Washington Capitals for not waiting for that decision. Like, you could just insert Alex Ovechkin into this top 9, no problem. But we all understand that Alex Ovechkin's time in the NHL, I don't think you're seeing him in the NHL in 2028. So if that's the case, you have to prep long-term for that. Them being proactive and going to get 2 top-line forwards, or at least top 6 forwards, if you want to argue it, is excellent in my opinion. I don't know how well the Alex Tuch contract is going to age at $10.5 million over 8 years, but the Jordan Kyrou acquisition I thought was fantastic. I thought, yes, they paid a pretty hefty price. McMichael 16th and Gastrin is quite the price for a player that had full no trade clause and full control over where he was going. But it's a price to pay if he bounces back, becomes a point per game winger. So I like what they've done. Washington's retool on the fly, I think, has been excellent. This isn't a team that picked top 5 at all, but they have already. You look at that top 9, it looks excellent. You look at the back end, Jacob Chychrun signed long-term. Cole Hudson is one of the most exciting young defensive prospects. So they have a lot to look forward to. And I feel like because the Metropolitan Division is so wide open, they took full advantage of their window. They were aggressive in terms of their trades over the last 2 years. And now I think they're going to be able to reap the rewards and really kind of be right up there with Carolina and the Metropolitan.
Marco, we always appreciate you bringing the heat and not making fun of me for the terrible accent I tried to do, bringing you into the show. I know, probably hear about it from you later. But, since we talk about the Quebec Nordiques, why not bring out the Montreal Expos? Do you think they're ever going to come back? Let's just bring up that hot topic while we're here. Come on.
No comment.
That's all right, buddy.
I don't know how to say this politely, but I think it would require a significant change in policy and investment in sports in Montreal. Investment that we've seen in Toronto quite substantially over the last decade and a half. I think that's a model that the city of Montreal needs to adopt, because it can't simply just be Canadian city. And the city of Montreal was better when they had a multitude of major league teams involved. And I think the Expos absolutely would thrive if they ever came back. Just got to have a place to play, and it's got to be accessible and worthwhile.
Just thinking about that rivalry already gets me angry. I kind of love it. I need it to come back, but we appreciate your time as always. Thank you for always bringing the fire this morning.
Always a pleasure, guys. Always a pleasure being here. Have a great day.
Thank you, Marco.
Make sure to go follow him. Make sure to find him on X. It's MNDAMICO. Such a great follow. Also, the co-host of Star and D'Amico. Fantastic program. Check that out. And real quickly, while we keep up the Knies news, just a friendly reminder that the draft is here this weekend, the NHL Draft, and the Nation Network is your destination for all the action. On June 26th, The Sheet with Jeff Merrick is going live from Toronto with Pierre Maguire in pre- and post-draft coverage, plus custom player profiles for each of the picks in the first round. Also, the Leafs Nation will be live for Toronto's first overall pick. Canucks Army will do a live watch-along, and Barn Burner is bringing the draft night energy with a live hangout from Calgary. Follow every pick, every reaction, and every future hockey star with the Nation Network. And you can check out all the features on our YouTube. And Dan, he dropped some Knies news there.
Yeah, McKenna no matter what, by the way, for tomorrow night. And we'll see you
Heck
on the Leafs Nation watch along tomorrow night as well. So the Knies thing, because it is the biggest story in Leafs land right now, that his name continues to be in the rumor mill. And from everything I can gather on this front, and seeing what Marco reported, seeing what people in Chicago reported about trade talks between the Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks surrounding Matthew Knies, this is simply sounding like John Chaika is sitting there saying, make me an offer I can't refuse. And when you hear names like the 4th overall pick and one of Chicago's big-time prospects like an Anton Frundell or Frank Nazar, who had his breakout season last year with Chicago, that kind of tells you what this is. This isn't the Leafs trying to move Matthew Knies. This is the Leafs seeing that it's an incredible seller's market and wondering if they can get something that makes it worthwhile to move Matthew Knies. If I'm Knies hearing all this come out, like, okay, maybe you're not the happiest that the Leafs are thinking about trading you, but it kind of shows you that they think very highly of you, that they might be asking for this much in trade for your services. Matthew Knies is a unicorn. The reason why Alex Tuch gets the contract that he did yesterday from the Washington Capitals, there is too few power forwards around the league. There's a reason why teams will constantly draft big guys in the rounds 3 and 4 and whatever else in the NHL Draft tomorrow, because a lot of times their GMs are telling their scouts, find me the next Tom Wilson. I want the next Tom Wilson. And the Leafs have a player like that, or at least built in that mold in Matthew Knies. So the only way you think about moving that player is if you get simply an offer that's too good to pass up. And I think that's entirely what this whole situation is for the Leafs and Matthew Knies and the idea of trading.
An offer that's too good to pass up.
It may be an offer I can't refuse.
Thank you. Okay, that was actually fantastic. Zach is shaking his head. No, I actually thought you were Marlon Brando in The Godfather right now. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you
Wouldn't
never know.
be the first time I duped you guys with an impression. But.
Oh, that happened yesterday before the show, and it actually had me and Zach shook. And I was on my toes this morning to make sure I did not get fooled by it again. But yesterday, the Toronto Raptors had another pick in the draft. It was the second round, and with the 50th pick in the NBA draft, here's who the Toronto Raptors chose.
With the 50th pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Toronto Raptors select Jaden Bradley from the University of Arizona.
Holy shiitake, they got a guard who, by the way, the 22-year-old Bradley averaged just over 13 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, almost 2 steals, over 39 games with the Wildcats, one of the best teams in the NCAA division when men's basketball last season. I think this is a fantastic pickup at 50. They had Ellen Graves the day before at 19. Both of them will be speaking at 1 p.m. today. We'll have sound on our YouTube as well as airing it tomorrow on the show. But before that, well, actually after that, there was rumors.
Oh, rumors everywhere.
So many rumors surrounding Toronto sports teams, but the Raptors, that they potentially were going to get LaMelo Ball. And I want you to look at this reaction on social media when some Toronto fans heard that, hey, LaMelo Ball might be coming to the Toronto Raptors. Well, Jeff put this out on social media saying, would not like this move for the Raptors at all. He frequents Toronto. He's a frequent Toronto pedestrian who does not want to be run over by LaMelo Ball's Hummer. It's like the shade, but honestly, that was the majority of the reaction. Besides, they did not think he would be a good fit. And today, Shams breaking the news that Ball went to Minnesota and now is with Ant. So they have the first and third overall draft picks from 2020 on that squad, and I'm so curious to see how these very...
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a polite way of saying how they're ball hogs will handle this team. They both have
There's not enough ball to go around for Ant and LaMelo?
And ball.
And ball.
That's what she said. Anyways, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just think that's a reality show in the making, in not a good way.
It is quite the trade. Like, Naz Reid is a part of the deal. He's probably the centerpiece of the deal. That's
Why would Charlotte do this?
Well, Naz Reid's a pretty good player.
Well, he is,
and you get a lot of draft picks. I don't know what you're going to get in the 2033 draft.
What you said this earlier was a great point. They're already trading 10-year-olds.
Yes.
But the thing is, they finally
the
got back.
2033 draft. Can't
I
wait
know
to
they
see
have
what it
Knipple,
is.
all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But they finally were on. They had such a crazy season last year where they bounced back. They make the playoffs. There's hope around this team. There's excitement for the first time in years. I know there's a lot of reports I've heard from people on that team and around the team just of his antics surrounding the actual game of basketball were not
He's a
favorable.
polarizing player.
Yeah.
Right?
But so is Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
So this is going to be fantastic. Thank you, NBA, always for the drama. But Charlotte fans are not happy for the most part with this move.
No, and it's tough because in the NBA you're either taking a chance on a star level player or you're just in a constant rebuild mode. And Charlotte is kind of there. I know if you're you're showing signs that of life, you feel pretty good about it if you're Charlotte. But at the same time, if you look at the bigger picture, was Charlotte ever going to contend in an Eastern Conference that's got the Celtics and the Knicks and all these guys? No, you've got to take your time and really build it out. And I think that's probably the thing that the Oklahoma City Thunder have showed everybody is if you go the extra long route with the rebuild and just keep collecting assets, you can build the championship contender and then still have 2 first-round picks to add to your championship contender as they did this past season. I'm not saying that's what Charlotte's doing, but I'm trying to make sense of it all because it doesn't make a lot of sense. I am interested in the Raptors side of this because it was reported that they, alongside Minnesota, were the teams trying to get LaMelo Ball. And I don't hate it. I didn't hate it. He's a good player.
Yeah, I don't think he was a fit with the Raptors. I don't. I like what they're doing now. They obviously need to make some kind of move before they start next season. And I know in the chat yesterday, people were pretty hot and heavy over trying to get a deal to get somehow Brandon Ingram out of the Raptors. So I mean,
this is probably a better deal for Charlotte in the end. I'm not sure what the Raptors could have offered. They would have had they would have had to make the money work. So that means either BI or IQ are going the other way.
How would you feel about Fungi Kawhi coming back here? Because friend of the show, Bobby Marks, yesterday saying on the ESPN broadcast about how Kawhi potentially could be going back to a former team. Doesn't say which team. How would you feel if somehow they made some kind of move to bring back Kawhi Leonard to Toronto?
I would be floored by it a little bit.
This is one that make it make sense.
Everything that's going on around Kawhi. I mean,
is there anything going on there? Any legal stuff?
There's kind of some big stuff. I mean, we're 7 years on from the title run now.
Oh, that makes me feel old.
And it's kind of crazy how fast time goes by. But is Kawhi still that final piece to the puzzle that he was back then? I'm not so sure about that. So I would have mixed feelings about Kawhi coming back, especially everything that's happened. You made your choice, so
suck on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to say. Our chat right now on YouTube, Off the Roster. Thank you for joining us all show. I want to read one of the results of the polls, which was, should the Maple Leafs trade Matthew Knies? 52% of you said, get her done. Well, of course, 40% said
52%.
No.
I'm a little bit surprised by that.
I am definitely surprised by that. I won't be surprised, though, with both of you hitting your Proline pick of the day. And you know what? The Proline Split loyalty merch experience will still be driving around Toronto during the World Cup. If you want to go and get custom merch for your favorite teams, you can find out where the van will be on their Instagram page. You get free merch. It gets customized with 2 countries you love to watch play soccer. It's free. Go enjoy it. We did it. Photos of us right now on Instagram, as well as Dan reacting with some of the World Cup fans. Dan, what do you have?
We are looking at the slate of games today in the big tournament, and Ivory Coast is on the docket. They've got layup against Curacao. Sorry to all the Curaçaoans that might be offended by that comment. But Ivory Coast looking to punch their ticket into the round of 32 after their loss to Germany here at Toronto Stadium. I've got Yan Diomande, who is one of the young stars of this tournament, is going to parlay this into a big move to another club team this summer and one of the big clubs in Europe. So we've got Yan Diomande to score a goal today for Côte d'Ivoire.
You guys are gonna you guys are gonna hate this where I end up going here with this, but we're going to the MLB.
Okay,
we're staying in Toronto.
Uh-oh.
I'm getting a death stare from Lindsay and Dan.
We're
going with the Texas Rangers money line.
Oh wow! The messy what? Now it's messy in here. See what
There's
I did there?
Lego everywhere. Yeah, Texas Rangers money line. The Jays
not a believer
stink.
in the Jays.
No, the Jays stink.
The good news is Jeff Hoffman might not pitch today. So
great. I don't know. I don't believe in this team right now. Vladdy can't hit. The pitching's good. The bats are bad. The bats are good. The pitching's bad. Nothing can line up here.
That's a mid-baseball team for you.
It's a mid-baseball team, and I just don't have any faith in them. And at plus money on the Rangers, I can't pass it up. Lindsay's so pissed. The Lego went flying.
The Lego, I did not expect to break that easily after my hours of putting that together. My hand
exploded.
It exploded.
I wish I have that on an ISO cam, but it wasn't on the live. We'll have to pull that after.
Yeah, I hated that, and I hope you absolutely eat crow on that. Hey, fun fact, I know we don't have the video of this, Zach, but yeah, it's everywhere. Did you see what Skubal did yesterday in the game that took him out for at least a minute?
Was it something to do with
you don't know this.
Hit below the belt?
And then the release from a pitch, he tapped himself with his hand, and he had to take a breather.
I didn't see that.
It is my highlight.
Literally 80% of the videos Lindsay wants to bring into the show are
I've noticed a trend here.
Are guys getting hit in the crotch.
It's so funny. I don't have those parts, so I don't know the reaction. So I'm watching this. I'm like, I don't understand. He accidentally hit himself from behind with his hand, and it took him out. It's also one of my favorite things in the NBA because when a guy gets hit there, they all have different reactions of trying to, quote, wear it and act like it didn't happen. And I'm like, do you guys go to school for this? Do they tell you this in like NBA training, how to react when you get hit there? But if you've not seen that video, go check it out. Zach, I hate your pick, but I like you as a person. So I hope you have a great day, but I hope you're eat it. Anyways, watch the 90th minute at 12 p.m. with Zach.
Well,
not Zach, but you're Dan.
No.
I'm just so
Dan
angry.
and Blake Price.
Screw you, Zach. Have a great day. We love Zach.
She is
we'll see you tomorrow.
rattled right now.
Rattled.
I'm so rattled.
Trash take. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and to subscribe to the Off the Roster YouTube channel.